This movie begins in war-torn Afghanistan. Mr. Donovan believes he has successfully completed a mission and secured the money. However, his team is ambushed, and the locals they hired to help them betray them. Donovan discovers that the money has been scattered in thousands of small automatic deposits in various banks around the world, including the US. He becomes enraged and demands to know the names of the banks. When pressed, the betrayer refuses to reveal any specific information, leading to a heated exchange between the two. Donovan threatens to kill him, but is held back. Major Rahimi is on the verge of apprehending a major antiquity smuggler in Asia when his team is ambushed. The attackers, led by a war profiteer named Donovan, employ a combination of weapons, including 5.56 caliber rifles and a powerful 50 caliber sniper rifle. Rahimi suspects that Donovan's own team, composed of ex-special forces, orchestrated the attack, having previously killed an Interpol agent during a failed extraction in Kabul. This highly adaptable and ruthless team will stop at nothing to evade capture. Kenny is attacked in the bathroom at his school by a group of men. Despite his efforts to defend himself, Kenny is overpowered. During the altercation, Steve, who is the son-in-law of Mike played by Nicolas Cage, Steve's wife, Lisa, reveals that she is pregnant with their first child. Later, Rossi visits a gun store to purchase weapons for protection. There, she meets the store owner, Mr. Fisk, who offers her various firearms. Rossi expresses concern about the potential consequences of providing weapons that could be used in violent situations. Mrs. Ralston and the principal of school discuss the disciplinary actions against Mrs. Ralston's son, Kenny, for an alleged attack on another student. Steve and Lisa argue about the name they plan to give their upcoming baby, with Lisa insisting it's a girl, while Steve is convinced it's a boy. The conversation shifts to the school's zero-tolerance policy on violence and the potential consequences for Mike, including expulsion or a ride-along with a police officer as a corrective measure. Lisa shares her personal struggles with her dad's inability to cope with their family's challenges, including her mother's illness and eventual death, and expresses her determination to be there for her family and support them through their difficulties. The characters discuss various matters while preparing for a heist. Lisa is revealed to be pregnant, and the group expresses their happiness for the couple. They also discuss the logistics of their plan, including the number of hostages and the presence of a security guard. The group is confident in their ability to execute the heist successfully and retire with their newfound wealth. Meanwhile, Mike receives a surprise from his daughter, who announces that she is pregnant, making him a grandfather. A group of police officers, including Mike, are preparing for a stakeout. The conversation turns to discussing the potential retirement of one officer and the readiness of a new recruit for a ride-along. The team receives a call for a possible petty theft and prepares to execute the arrest. The tone shifts from casual to serious as they approach the scene, with clear roles assigned and a sense of urgency. Despite the earlier joking, the team works together efficiently and professionally to make the arrest. He orders everyone to get down and threatens to kill anyone who tries to intervene. After securing the vault in safety, he demands that everyone hand over their phones and puts them in a bag. When the local police arrive, claiming they are just making a donut run, one of his team members expresses frustration over the situation, leading to a conversation about past transgressions and a discussion about the team member's propensity for violence. Mike questions his toughness and the team member explains that he is not a fighter but rather someone who gets bullied. A group of men plan an attack on a bank, intending to cause an explosion and rob it. They discuss their target, a man named Mac, who they believe is a parking violator and a shitty marksman. Mac, who is present during the conversation, expresses his feelings of isolation and lack of friends. The men make their move, and an explosion occurs, resulting in several deaths and injuries. Emergency services respond, and the scene is cleared for them to attend to the victims. The news reports the explosion, and the perpetrators' identities and motives remain unknown. Mac and his friend are left to deal with the aftermath. The waitress outside a national bank reports that no one entered before an explosion occurred inside. The team, including Captain Horst and officers, Luke, Rob, and Chandler, are caught in a shootout with the suspects. The team tries to get everyone to safety and apprehend the suspects, but one of them has a hostage. The team orders everyone to sit down and face the wall while they try to neutralize the situation. Amidst the chaos, some team members are injured, and they struggle to get everyone out of harm's way while continuing to engage with the suspects. Steve is shot during a bank robbery and goes into shock while his team tries to save him. They apply pressure to the wound and call for medical assistance as they prepare to change their plan due to the arrival of snipers. Interpol agent Rossi arrives at the scene with information about C4 found in a warehouse, and the officer allows her to look around while asking her not to touch anything. The waitress at the scene identifies one of the robbers, and Mike's team continues to work to keep him alive. Despite his dire condition, Steve expresses his fear of going into hypovolemic shock and dying. The team, led by Mike, is under heavy fire during a mission. McAvoy urges his team to press forward and stay sharp as they are pinned down. One team member, Kenny, records a heartfelt message for his family before he is fatally wounded. Mike tries to keep him conscious and promises to be there for his child. The team comes under more gunfire, and Mike orders them to move while covering their fallen comrade. The intensity of the firefight continues as they try to reach medical assistance. A firefight ensues between Nicolas Cage's and the film's antagonists. Amidst the chaos, team members call for backup, cover fire, and medical assistance. One team member, Jacobs, is hit and the team must decide whether to move him or secure the area. Meanwhile, a concerned wife receives news of her husband's injury at the hospital and demands to be allowed in the trauma room. The team must balance their mission objectives with the need to save their fallen comrade and attend to family concerns. Mrs. Ralston's son, Kenny, who was on a ride-along with them, calls his mother in distress as the robbers open fire. Mike's focus is on saving his son, but they lose contact with him. The partners exchange information with the lieutenant, who is frustrated with their late response and the loss of a ride-along. Interpol agent Rossi arrives with crucial information about the robbers and their whereabouts, but Mike is preoccupied with the loss of his son. Captain Mason and his team are planning their assault on a group of criminals holding hostages in a bank, and they discuss their entry strategy. The captain expresses concern about the potential for casualties and the criminals' ability to turn the assault against them. Despite his reservations, they move forward with the plan, with the red team approaching from the east and blue team forcing entry through the main entrance. The captain also addresses the concern for a ride-along officer and reassures his team that they have the situation under control. Members of a SWAT team are preparing to make an entry into a building where a suspect, whom one team member is determined to apprehend personally, is believed to be hiding. Despite the imminent SWAT entry, the team member refuses to leave his post and instead rallies his team to help him rescue a child who is also in the building. The team, who are brothers in real life, agree to work together to save the child and take down the suspect. The tension builds as they make their way through the building, encountering resistance and obstacles along the way. Ultimately, they successfully rescue the child and engage in a fierce gunfight with the suspect and his accomplices. Mike is surprised by his family during his granddaughter's birthday celebration. Despite the initial shock, however, the mood quickly turns sour when intruders break into the house. Mike and his family fend off the attackers, and he wonders how they managed to gain entry. Amidst the chaos, Mike asks Kenny for his phone to take pictures.